care about the others. You set my world on fire.
Hey everybody! Got it. In today's video we're going to be talking about things we wish people knew about grieving. This video is mainly for, it's not mainly for people like us. I mean, yes, it's...
Yeah, I think it's for anybody. I think it's for people who are going through grief, and I also think it's for people who know others who are going through it. But,
yeah.
I mean, anybody could just be interested in hearing
maybe
what you want to say.
I don't know. Some stuff that we've noticed ever since, you know, the loss of our boys. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we lost our twins a couple months back. It's almost going to be 2 months, and that's crazy. But just dealing with it and just things we wish people knew. I came across this article on Facebook and it was completely right. Everything I was feeling, I wish people knew. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have watched our videos. On one of my other videos I mentioned love and grief are the same. Therefore, grief will never end, love never ends, or dies, or however you want to put it. I read this article on Facebook off of the Jalen's Gift Foundation group, and it's called 6 Things I Wish People Knew About Grieving the Loss of a Child. It was published in the magazine Still Standing by Malka Ahmed. So I'll link the article if you guys want to read it, because we're just going to kind of paraphrase through this. The first thing was grief and love are the same. So the article says, please don't think because I am grieving for my child even after all this time that there's something wrong with me or that I need to get over it. I grieve deeply for the loss of my child because I also love her, in our case, them. Love never dies, therefore neither will grief. And that's kind of how I feel forever. And I don't know if some people we've gotten like weird comments where like they're like, oh, cringe because we've posted a happy video after what we've gone through. Well, it's like we can't just be stuck being sad forever. They're always going to be in our hearts. They're always, that's never going to change. We're always going to be grieving the loss of our boys, but we have to move on with our lives, but move on as a new norm, I guess you could say.
I think it's a mistake, one, to assume that there's a time limit on grief, that at a certain point you should be feeling fine now because X amount of time has gone by. And I think if you've suffered any sort of loss or you know anyone who has, you know that it doesn't work that way. That 5-10 years from now there will be certain things that will spark that grief, that memory will come back. I also think it's a mistake to assume that if you're not in constant sadness or displaying constant depression that you're no longer grieving. It doesn't work that way. I think happiness is still a choice. You still choose to move on with your life, choose to try to enjoy life, but to assume that someone who's enjoying themselves and someone who, you know, looks happy is obviously not grieving anymore is a mistake. Grief is not sadness. Grief is not depression. Those things do not have to be connected automatically. Of course, there's a lot of sadness with grief. It comes together, but the important thing, I think, when you are grieving is to try to move forward. It's to try to live your life and not allow yourself to become consumed with the grief and the sadness that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So when people watch it, or like you were saying, when people comment on videos of
like when we're happy, or we appear to be happy.
Or just in general, anyone who's suffered a loss, but then you don't see them looking upset or looking distraught. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're not in grief.
Yeah.
Just because they're trying to move on with their life, which is a positive choice that you should make. You should want to try to find the happiness in your life, even in face of, you know, terrible losses. It's not easy to do, but I don't think we should automatically assume that grief and sadness have to be the same thing. And I don't think we should assume that there's a time limit on grief, that it's something that just goes away after a certain point and like, okay, well, it's been so long, now you should be getting over it.
What Jarod just said just leads into the second thing in bold is I will never get over it. Says what we both just said. It's an ongoing thing. It's always going to be there. So part of the article says, I may look like I finally have my life back together. I may have even gone on to having more children, embarked a new career, but my child and the trauma of losing her is always one step behind. It also says, my tears may have dried, can probably utter my child's name without breaking apart. And that's one thing I want to say, like, oh, like I don't want to cry during this video, but like that's one thing that happens. Like I can talk about it now. Like I want to talk about them, you know, and it seems like some people don't. Like I haven't gone back to work yet, so I don't know how it's gonna be when I go back, and I'm honestly dreading to go back to work. I don't know, just the way I feel. But like with my parents the other day, my friend got me this little, like a globe.
Kind of, yeah, kind of like a globe.
It's like a globe, like
an ornament.
It looks like an ornament, but it has two little angels in there, like little babies with wings, and it's personalized. It says Alexander and Aidan, May 24, 2019. And I was showing my mom, I was trying to show her how excited I was of it. And it was like, I didn't say anything. Like I showed, you were there. I don't know if you understood what I was saying to her because I was speaking in Spanish, but I was just showing her. It was clear that I was showing her and how excited I was. And it's like, she just kind of looked down and ignored me. And to me, like, that breaks my heart because I want to talk about it. I want to make sure they're remembered, you know, maybe not to everybody that has followed us on YouTube, because there's tons of people that have unsubscribed ever since we lost them. And it's just sad to me that it's just kind of like they didn't exist in a way, you know? That's kind of like how I feel, like she's ignoring it.
I think people have a hard time when they're put in, I guess, uncomfortable situations and they don't know how to react.
It wasn't uncomfortable though. Like I was happy. I wasn't crying. I wasn't nothing. I was just showing her. I was super excited to show her.
It's still uncomfortable for them. I don't know.
I don't know. That's just my point of that. It's like if people want to talk about it, you should talk about it with them because obviously they want to talk about it.
Yeah, they want to keep the memory going.
Yeah.
They want to make sure nobody, that, especially other family members and loved ones, you know, are still remembering and understanding.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's just me and you now. And that's probably how it's gonna be. I feel like it's more me though. But at the end of the day, I guess it's just like they're just gonna live in my heart because I carried them and I knew how it was and I felt them. I didn't want to cry. This is so stupid. I am sad though because I feel like people forget or people don't care. And I'm mainly talking about my family. You know, like, because I have two brothers and not one of them has checked in, but that's the way it's always been, you know, like we're not close, but I feel like me as a person, I would check in with them if something ever happened to them. That's just me though. It sucks. I guess that's all you can say. It just sucks.
So number 3 is kind of building off of what you just said. Again, it says silence is deafening, and it's the idea of, you know, not saying anything at all is more difficult than saying something that might come across uncomfortable or something that you might stumble through. But just kind of not acknowledging it or not discussing it at all as if it didn't happen is the part that I think is why you feel the way you do, why you feel hurt. It's as if they're just trying to pretend nothing ever happened and instead, it's one thing to move on with your life. It's another thing to be in denial of what happened, of the loss, and you can't. And
that was just the one thing that triggered it, was just my mom kind of ignoring me.
Yeah. And
that's when I realized, like.
But in her defense, she's not completely ignoring it because she also just get you.
That's true. I mean, that's the only reason why I didn't freak out on her. Like I wouldn't either freak out on her. It was just in me, but she got me this little pendant and I shared it on Instagram. It's like it's just twins, little boys.
Yeah. And maybe for some people, like it says, it's just difficult for you to put in words for them to have that conversation. And even we've mentioned how, you know, we don't necessarily like it when people are asking how we are doing. No, but that to me that's kind of changed, you know. It has changed. Yeah, it has. We've kind of moved past that. It's definitely changed. It was just like the first month or so, I was just kind of like, don't ask me that, you know. Because at that point, we didn't really want to talk about it. We just kind of needed to keep it between us and keep it private. But I think now we're at that point where it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to ask us about it. I want to talk about it. I want people to ask me about it, you know, like not about like how the process, but like. I think that's a good thing to talk about and share with this video, so let people know that initially that's probably when you want to jump right in and ask those kinds of questions, but maybe it's good to just kind of hold back and wait and be patient, and the time will come when they'll reach out and they'll want to have those conversations. And when they do that, it's better to engage in the conversation rather than, you know, ignore it, or like what your mom kind of did, just have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And kind of change the subject or something, but actually, you know, kind of, okay, she's opening up. Let's see what we can, you know, what she wants to say, or we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so number 3, silence is deafening, kind of hits on that. Is that there is a point where we do want to hear, or do want to talk about it and hear, you know, from our close family and friends about, you know, what happened, and have those conversations. I know when we were out of town, my parents didn't want to really ask about it at all. They didn't mention it much, but when they did pull me aside once and just ask how you were doing and how we're doing. And I think it was easier for them to talk to me about it, but they didn't really want to.
I understand about you, like, they're your parents, so they feel more comfortable talking to you.
I think they're still just worried that if they say something to you, that it might trigger some strong emotions, and they don't want to upset you. And so maybe your mom was feeling the same way. So
But she's my mom, so that's why I was like,
yeah, that's okay.
She shouldn't feel like that. She should want to talk to me. I have Jarod, I have my mom, and, you know, and if you don't have them, then I don't have anybody, really. Anyway, go ahead.
Number 4, my child is irreplaceable.
Yeah, so it just doesn't mean, like, to me, it just, like, I'm going to count them forever as we have 3 children, because we do. Just 2 are not with us anymore. So, you know, when we go on to have a new child, another child, it's not that we're replacing them.
Exactly.
We're just adding another one to our family. So it would be our 4th child.
And again, that would be kind of the same, just kind of making the point that, you know, about the whole moving on process. We're having another kid isn't because we're just moving past or trying to be in denial of what had happened before. We want, you know, Annabella to know about her brothers. We're going to want any future children we have to know about their you know, their angel brothers. And that's going to be important, not to forget them and not to pretend like it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And I think number 5 kind of touches on that too. I'll always live in a parallel universe. And that's kind of what I was saying about how the grieving never ends. You know, that there are going to be moments, things that trigger the grief in you. And even
kinda
though
like
you've moved
now,
on with your life,
you know?
even though you're not constantly in sadness and in a deep depression, doesn't mean that the grief isn't always going to be with you, like the love.
Yeah.
That there's going to be moments, like obviously when we get to their due date, or when we're celebrating holidays, or when their birthdays come up. Like there's going to be times where we're going to be 2-3 years from now just saying to ourselves, you know, they'd be 3 years old today. Yeah. And then that's when, you know, that's when we'll feel it again, and the grief will come back, which is why it never really goes away.
Yeah.
When we see Annabella going through changes and seeing her grow up, and when we do have another child, seeing them go through, you know, those changes of going from, you know, being a, you know, crawling and walking and just hitting those, you know, benchmarks. Those would be things that we would just kind of remember. That could be Aidan and Alexander. That could have been them if they had the opportunity to. Yeah, like I still, honestly, like I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but like anybody, like twins, if I know twins, I still can't get myself to just like look at them. I don't see them in person, but I'm talking about social media. You know? I still can't. I just can't. And then number 6, I am forever changed. Yeah. So just, to me, it just means like you're a completely different person. You know? Like I feel like I'm a completely different person. I'm gonna, like, I don't want this to be negative, but like, you just go, like once you go through something like this or something really life-changing, you really see who's there for you, you know? Yeah. It just really lets you see people's true colors, in my opinion. And it's sad, you know? And I like this quote book. When I figured out a way to put together all the broken pieces, I won't look the same. Yeah. So even though there will be a time where everything comes back together and our lives are back to, I feel like we've done a really good job as putting almost like I wouldn't say that we're back together in full, but I think we've done a pretty good job. Like this is why doctors tell you take the time, because you need it, and it's so true. Like we've gone, we took a trip to see his family, and that was so good to just get out of here. I don't know where I'm going with that, but I just feel like
it was right. Like, they told me to take this time, and I took it. I still haven't gone back to work, but I'll be going back soon. But I think if I would have gone back to work like 3 weeks ago, I don't know. I think I would have been kind of more of a mess.
Definitely. I mean, I think what you're saying about taking the trip is that we, early on, the idea of us getting up and getting out of the house and taking a road trip would not even occur to us. Like, and just doing the things and trying to just, you know, get out and see other people. Those are still things that we're working towards being comfortable doing. You know, I know you've had a friend over, but we haven't really gotten a chance to see any of our other friends since since we lost the boys. And that's one more of the puzzle pieces we're trying to put back together.
Yeah, we're just trying to put ourselves back together to the point where we could do everything we used to be able to do, or we used to do. Again, just go back and be like, everything's back to normal whenever you see them, because it's not. Everything's changed. At least I have.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be a part in you that just feels it.
Yeah.
It's just constant. It's always there.
And I'm not trying to be negative at all in this video. I'm just being honest.
And I think that's the whole forever changed part. It's just that it's always going to be there with us. And it's always going to be in the back of our minds. Every situation, it's going to be there. There's, you know, every little thing can kind of spark a reminder. Kind of like you were saying, it's difficult for you to necessarily look and see other twins. You know, because it reminds you of your loss, and that's difficult for you. And I'm sure there will come a point where that's not the case. But again, it's one of those puzzle pieces that still isn't in place. So it's slowly coming back together, and we've got the core of it is pretty strong right now. But there's still those little bits and pieces that still, you know, aren't quite back to the way they were, and some things will never get back to how they were before this. I mean, it's kind of like, we know we want to try for another kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's something we're definitely going to do.
Yeah.
But it's not without a lot of, you know, apprehension and fear and anxiety and worry. Like, we're going to go into it a little worried until we know everything is great.
Exactly. I just feel like as soon as, like, if we were to be blessed to get pregnant again, like, as soon as we see those 2 lines, we're going to be so happy, but at the same time, we're going to be so scared.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be like a pit in the stomach type of moment that's going to, you know, that we're going to be concerned about the stress, and just because everything we went through with the loss of the boys beforehand was still a lot of difficult times. All the doctor appointments, the constant bad news, you know, it wasn't just that one day we lost the boys. That we're kind of...
It was just leading up to it, everything.
Yeah, so I guess you can say almost like there's some post-traumatic stress there.
Yeah,
because
for sure, yeah.
We went, you know, from, gosh, what was it?
We got pregnant in January.
January. And then when we found out we had twins, and
it was in April.
Yeah, so April, so about 2 months of just, you know, living in fear and worry, because we knew that it was a high-risk pregnancy.
But we were always so hopeful. We were just praying that, you know, we would be those success stories. But, you know, it just wasn't for us. It wasn't in our story. But I wanted to make this video to kind of just close out our little series of miscarriage / stillborn experience. I don't know. I'm sad because it's such a silent topic, and I really wanted to make it vocal in a way, my way. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know. I mean,
Because
I guess it just depends on what you're, you know, like. Maybe it's just such a difficult subject to talk about. Maybe people...
I just don't want people to think that I'm stuck, because I'm not stuck, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not stuck, but at the same time, I mean, I hope I helped anybody that is going through this, or that just went through it, or, you know, or if you just found our videos, and if I can at least help one person through any of the videos we've made since we lost them to now, then that makes my day. Yeah. Because that's all I wanted to do.
It's maybe not for the wide audience, but for a specific...
Clearly not, because like, you know, like I said, we've lost a ton of subscribers.
I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why people unsubscribe, though, but I think the unsubscribers are more about people who logged in while we were going through our hard time, you know? And they were interested in our story, and they wanted to see that happy ending, and they wanted to see how our faith carried us through a positive result. But that's what I'm thinking, because it didn't fit their narrative. It didn't get the result that our strong faith was supposed to get us. They just kind of unsubscribed, and some of them left those negative comments about, you obviously didn't believe strong enough in God, and so this is what happened.
Yeah, there was like really rude. Are we leaving this in the video?
If you think so. I think we lost a lot of viewers who came on because they liked the story of our strong faith and our positivity through our difficult time, and how we said, we were putting everything in God's hands. But then when the result didn't come out the way they wanted it to, then they decided to unsubscribe. So they wanted, a happy ending, and to be able to point to our story and see, here's proof that, believing in God will result in good things. And
it doesn't work that way. Just because you're praying and, hoping for this miracle, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It doesn't happen to everybody. God doesn't make miracles for everybody. That's the way I see it. And we just happen to be not in that plan. And I don't know, the way, like that one comment that you mentioned, that was really shitty of somebody to say that to us. That was really messed up. I read that comment the day after my surgery, the day after they were delivered, and that was really messed up.
Yeah, it's messed up on a couple levels. One, it's questioning your faith and
whether
they really had strong faith and believed in God, but also it's basically saying that God didn't believe you, so He took your boys away.
Yeah, and that was messed up.
It's a very negative way to look at the world. Like I'm more of one to believe that God's plan is one of those things that you as humans were just not able to necessarily understand, and so we won't ever really be able to make sense of this and why it happened to us. At least not anytime soon. But maybe there will come a time when, or maybe these moments of us sharing our story and getting this out there is going to reach that one person, and maybe that was God's plan all along.
Yeah.
But to assume that.
That's what I want, at least. I mean, that's what I hope for. I just wish I could help somebody.
But to assume that God decided to take our boys away because we didn't exercise or demonstrate enough faith in Him is a little... Yeah.
That was wrong. And then you guys won't ever find these comments because we delete them and block these people, because why do we want negative people in our lives?
Yeah, exactly.
But
especially when you're going through a tough time anyway.
But yeah, to find that the day after that, I don't ever like to say that a comment puts me down, but that was really messed up.
Yeah, and it suggests that every bad thing that happens to people, every bad thing that happens to you or your family or to a loved one, is because you lack faith in God. And I think that's absurd to suggest that. So we kind of got off topic there a little bit towards the end, but we hope that, again, this is beneficial to somebody out there. And we appreciate those of you who
stayed along with us and
who follow us through this journey, who still enjoy watching our videos and enjoy being a part of the Stucki Fam. We're looking forward to more positive videos. We're looking forward to giving you guys some great news down the road, and just doing the best to keep this positive and upbeat. And
some of you say you're surprised we're still on YouTube, and that's because honestly, I've answered some comments, but I just want to say YouTube keeps us really busy, and to me that's a really good thing for my mind to just be busy, and creating videos is something we love to do, and just keeping busy, and it has helped so much, I think.
Yeah, and I think the sharing of our story is important. I think that's what YouTube is, one of the valuable things about YouTube, is being able to take real life experiences and share it, and let people out there who are going through something similar, who need an outlet, who maybe don't have any other people in their lives to kind of give them some background or insight into what they're going through, can find something on social media that could actually be useful and beneficial, that's honest and isn't just about some pranks or challenges like most of what YouTube is. Like, we're just trying to put our real story out there, and it is what it is. We're just hoping that that's something that will be interesting to people. I mean, there's a lot of other videos out there for that kind of stuff.
I mean, either way, we're gonna post what we want, and the people who like it will stick around, and the people who don't won't. So
sometimes we just do videos that are just, hey, let's try that. That sounds like fun. We see other videos, and Blanca's like, ooh, this is a fun one that somebody did, so let's do that one. And then there's videos like this where we just want to
sit down and talk to you, because like I've mentioned before, it's like this is, to me at least, it's very therapeutic to just sit here and talk to you. I mean, you know, I'm just talking to you right now, but we're really talking to whoever watches this too.
And we're just trying to keep it real. You know, this is really what goes on in our minds. These are really the things that we deal with. You know, these are really issues that come up for us. And, you know, our loss was something that we really felt and went through with a great deal of difficulty. So it may seem odd to some that we would put that out there and share that, but
yeah,
it was helpful for us personally, but then we also hope that it'll be helpful for others who watch it. And if that's a good positive spin that we can put on the grief and tragedy that we went through, then we found something beneficial out of this that can be helpful to somebody else, that would be great. Like, that'll make it, you know, at least easier for us to kind of understand, because obviously we don't understand why, you know, why we had this loss, why it was us, why this happened to us. You know, there's always those questions when you have a tragedy. But if there's people out there that we can help through a difficult time on their own, that's one of those things we can point to and be like, there's a purpose to this that makes a little more sense. Yeah. Because we were able to share our story. Somebody else is feeling better about what they're going through right now. So again, we appreciate that, and you know, we'll try to have. We'll just keep doing what we do. We're vlogging, we're posting, whatever just comes to mind. But we kind of been talking more about doing videos like these where we just kind of sit and kind of just
like let us know definitely let us know in the comments, because we've noticed like when we just sit down and talk, people are more interested as opposed to when we do like, I don't know, like try to do something funny. I don't know.
Like a challenge or a
like a challenge.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like that's what appeals to our audience. But if you like it, I mean, we're gonna do it if it just is something that we just think would be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do it either way if we really want to do it.
But it's nice to know what you guys like, and we just seem to think that, you know, it's good for us. We've enjoyed just having these sit downs.
Yeah, it's helpful. At least to me, it makes me feel better.
We'll turn the camera on and we'll just kind of let you guys into our lives and let you be, you know, part of our actual family, because we do appreciate.
I'd like to say we're really honest on camera.
And honest, and we want to let you guys into our lives, and then we want to read your comments, and we want to hear what you have to say.
Let us know if you like these types of videos and if there's any topics you want us to cover, because we love to sit here and talk.
Especially me.
Jarod loves it.
The sound of my own voice.
Alright, but I guess this wraps up this video.
And
thanks so much for watching.
thumbs up if you do like this video. If you're new and this is the first of our videos you've seen and you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit subscribe.
Become a part of the Stucki family.
Yeah, and check out some of our other videos if you haven't seen and you're kind of wondering where this video came from and why we're having this video and, you know, what's the background. It's all there. We've got plenty of videos. Yeah, plenty of videos that can kind of, you know, give you the backstory to this video. Again, thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below if these are videos that you're interested in, or if there's any types of videos that you want to see us do in the future. And of course, if you're new and you want to be a part of the fam, subscribe.
All right. We will see you in our next one. Bye.
Bye.